Okay, so if they're coming from those directions, let's see, if they're coming those directions in, and we have 3 brigades plus cavalry.
Indeed. My first instinct would be to defend the crossroads at Herborn, but they can just go around it on the eastern bank of what is this? The Dale.
And we have to hold Berg, is that correct?
Yep.
So we have these hills. It's not going to be easy for them trying to cross this terrain. We could put a brigade facing south, a brigade facing southwest, 1 brigade in reserve, and then the cavalry also in reserve in case they start to outflank us or something. If we have a strong position, then they have to attack us. If your brigades keep a reserve, that should be good. So don't put all of your units on the front line. Have some, in back for in reserve. And I think we look at these hills. The cavalry could even counterattack if there's an opening. Although, as I understand, we're going to be outnumbered probably. Huh.
I just don't quite get which roads which are the roads that the briefing is talking about.
Well, I think at the bottom, and you could ask Otto, and he should point it out, or your Empire, but I think at Rebrock, do you see that? It's in this green valley that turns 90 degrees and goes north, south of
Yep,
Hebron, Hebron,
yep.
Herborn. So they're going to come up that way, and then there's kind of this road there, and it looks like it's farmers' fields, so it's not going to be easy going for them necessarily, but it is flat terrain. But if we set up a battery so as to fire on them down there, they don't have any kind of cover or anything, of course, so they'll be observed. So we could put a battery to guard that way, and then we need something to guard that road. And that's actually going to be the hard part because they can get around through those hills. Now they have to go over land. They don't have roads that I know of. There might be a trail or something, but I don't see it on the map. But they'll be very slow going around. Now, our troops are inexperienced, right? So we probably are going to have a hard time saying go counterattack them or bayonet charge them. Those are probably not very good ideas, are they? Uh, but yeah, I don't know that they'll come up there through the middle between the road and the valley. Again, because of the hilly terrain. I think they'll come around though from the left for sure, around Dahlberg or so, or they'll come north to Berg. What do they expect us to do? Yeah, because if they do a wide flanking maneuver, it'll take them a long time to get up to Berg, but they could do that. So you'll need your cavalry up around Berg or a detachment at least.
We can probably send out pickets. If I understand right, we had a lot of time to prepare, so we may even
Uckersdorf.
be able to. Yeah, we may even be able to deploy breastworks.
Okay, so maybe at Uckersdorf we
Marshall,
have something to watch. Yes.
Marshall, can I have my troops location, my regiment's location? I only have the map. don't
Right,
know where
we're
are my.
trying to decide where everyone's going to be. We don't have the
Well,
locations yet, but we will.
we're currently figuring it out.
I'm having a map.
Good, good. Okay. I don't know. I see three avenues of approach. One is a wide flank march through Uckersdorf. Do you see that?
Where is it?
Yep.
Towards Berg, probably following that valley. The second avenue is going to come up through the south, through the valley, through Herborn. And then the other one is going to come up that main road around
Is
Johannesburg,
that?
up to Herborn, and then up the valley probably as well. So those two valley approaches are the most likely approaches I feel. I can, well, I don't think I can stream my screen. I don't know, but I think those are going to be the most likely approaches. So we can either have a forward defense south of Herborn and maybe something around Uckersdorf, or we can have a tight defense around Berg where we take those hills and kind of deploy around there. Then it's just about holding on. But if we're outnumbered, I don't know. I think I kind of favor the forward defense, even though there's a risk of being overrun. We can always fall back to a secondary line.
Yeah, that's like around Herborn. We can even include it in our line.
And also, if they do come up through Uckersdorf and Herborn, we have a chance to defeat them in detail. If one brigade holds, then the other brigade in the cavalry gives us a local advantage. So we should think about maybe defeating them in detail, even though our troops might not be the best. If we can overwhelm them on one flank, that might collapse the whole attack. I wonder if Uckersdorf is where they're going to be vulnerable.
I mean, we can probably just send out cavalry pickets there.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, I mean, you could set up closer to Berg and then send scouts and pickets forward to see what's approaching where, and then go out from there. However, I think that I don't know that that's the best strategy. The problem is if we guess and we guess wrong, then we have men who are too far out of position to help. But if we guess and guess correctly and set up forward, it could be very rewarding. So it's a gamble either way. Anyway,
I
thankfully
like
it's not
the
my decision.
I like the forward position idea.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have some audacity, especially being outnumbered. I think if we just sit back behind somewhere, even though it's comfortable and we would have the benefit of breastworks and such, which we probably need to have or do.
I mean, we can probably set up breastworks here. I didn't think that half an hour leisurely march will change a lot down to Herborn.
Were you guys done with planning, or do you have any questions that I could answer?
I think I have the plan. I'm just not sure everybody.
Okay,
Well,
it's fine.
I didn't say anything on it yet. So
Okay, it's fine. The coalition isn't quite ready either. So
Otto,
Yeah.
the enemy as has been sighted on the Johannesburg Herborn Road, correct, and around Reebok, which is that green valley to the south.
Exactly. Yep. You've seen some scouts there
Okay,
and something resembling a cavalry screen.
okay. And their
Okay.
objective is probably Berg. They have to take that crossroads.
Once you guys are ready to give orders, we'll be sorting you guys into your own channels, but also before that you can like write orders in your own channels.
Okay.
So I'll stream it, I guess.
Okay.
So this is the basic plan. We'll have an infantry brigade holding this position. I'll ask, but I believe these are city walls, and if they're not, I mean that's an advantage position either way. And we have these hills that are not connected to any of the southern ones, so they'll have to get down into the valley to attack this position. And we'll have a battery here, and then another infantry brigade. And he'll also have to account for these woods, so probably send out some pickets or skirmishers through the woods to be an advanced alarm. We can send. I would say we should send cavalry pickets to this valley to guard basically all approaches to up there. And we can also send some pickets down south to see if they try to cross at this bridge, because I think that would be the biggest hamstring for this current plan. If they try to cross and get this flank, I think if we know they cross, then it shouldn't matter that much. And we'll have my infantry and the cavalry in reserve, along with a battery. And I would say that battery will probably move up if nothing happens down here.
Okay, which brigades do you want where?
Well, I guess you guys could decide if which one you want. If not, I can just assign you.
I would like to be the more western one.
So this covering the forest and the hills.
Yes.
Okay, that shall be done. And if I guess you're right, you are 2nd Brigade, right?
Yes.
Yep, 2nd Brigade. Okay, Marsha, you'll be in Hebron.
Okay.
And you'll have the artillery, I guess, on the hill.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and I think that should be it.
Where is the cavalry gonna be placed?
And the reserve line up here.
Okay. That's okay.
You want just go like that. Okay. And then I get a battery, right? Which what battery?
We have 2 light batteries. Don't think they.
6 pound.
I guess so. 6. I mean,
Okay, so I've got is it 1 block or of 6 pound guns?
I believe so.
Okay. All right, and that's
Yeah,
going to
if
go on the hill.
yeah, and if
Okay.
they don't try any funny business with all these flanking routes, I'll send you the other one too.
Okay, I'll post you guys to your channel here my. That's how I'm positioned. Is that correct for you?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, then that's how I'm posted. The problem that I have there is I don't have units in reserve. But you have a whole
You
brigade behind me, so.
Yeah, if you want, you can tighten up the line in the city and free up some battalions.
Yeah, that's probably what I need to do. I need to have something in reserve. Probably
Yeah,
at least a couple blocks.
Otto, I have a single question.
Yep.
That should be: does Hebron have city walls, or what are those lines?
Um, No, it doesn't really. It doesn't. Even if it does have city walls, they are quite out of date. They are basically, let's say that there's medieval ruins.
Guess that's better than nothing.
Oh, I have two. Oh, that's why. Sorry. I have two 105s and two 130s. That's because it's a brigade with 2 battalions.
So, does everybody understand the plan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or objections?
No,
I
but
object to
I
having to
request that
defend.
the screen should be shade of the map at all times.
I didn't quite get that.
I'm asking that whether the screen is going to be shade
N- n-
all the
No.
game.
The
No,
the umpire will give you a screen, a picture each turn.
That
Yeah, you'll see a small portion of the map.
Yep, you have the full map file in your channel, and you'll
I'm
also get
having it.
a screenshot each turn telling you, basically showing you are, this is where you are, this is what you can see around you, and there'll be some description to you of other things you can see or hear.
Okay, that will do it.
Why do I have to defend a hill called Dahlberg?
Because they thought, who would absolutely cover a doll, who would die on that hill, and they decided it would be you.
I mean, rather ironic.
Yeah, I know,
Anyhow,
right?
And the dolls, but not himself.
That's great. Inside joke in the IKS, but alright. Okay, I'm gonna screenshot my position and I'm ready to go.
yeah. Also, everybody just send out some pickets down south for advance warning for yourselves.
What do you mean with the picket?
I believe you can order picket lines.
Okay.
Yeah, Roddy, I'd ask one thing of you. Send out in your initial orders some pickets to Uckersdorf and the Ollie crossing on the Dale River, south of Herborn. Those two positions.
can you repeat the picket locations?
In Uckersdorf.
Yep.
And there's, I believe, only one crossing on the Dale River, south of Herborn.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm gonna post pickets at around Reebok, actually on that hill. I think right there, and maybe something here. So those 3 positions. Again, I'll screenshot that. Pickets 2. And then I'm gonna post this to you so you can see where I'm sending pickets. What do you think of that?
I think that should be it.
Alright, that should do. That'll see us if they're trying to do a wide flank to the east. If they're going for that lower bridge, which I think they will, we'll see that coming. And we'll definitely see whatever's coming up that big road.
Absolutely.
Have a good field of fire for the artillery. So anything coming up that road is going to have a hard time.
And Marshall,
Yes.
I think the road leading to Herborn on the east side should be defended. I don't think we have to defend it more.
Well, we're not defending to the east of the road, but we have to watch it because they might send forces around that way.
Yeah.
And if we see them moving, then we will have to also move to defend to the south.
If we want to defend to the south, I think we have a bridge crossing the river, but I think that Herborn will be left undefended.
Yeah, we don't want to leave this undefended because their actual objective isn't even Herbon, it's Berg, which is to the north. So
Yeah, I
we
know
have
that.
a forward defensive position that we're occupying. As I understand it, though, we're supposed to hold that crossroads. So,
Yeah. Okay.
Marshall,
yes.
And
I've
one
got
more
your,
question.
I have your screenshot plot of the map. I just want to know where you personally are, what you're close to.
Okay, I'm also indicating breastworks across the front would be thrown up along that position. I don't know if they'll be that useful, but
By the way,
Uh,
guys,
Oh, yeah, don't forget the breastworks, breastworks, guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
And Marshall,
okay, yes.
what's the final objective of the coalition forces?
I think it's to take Berg. Is that my understanding? Is that correct?
don't know. But
I'll
by the
be
way, guys, the coalition are ready. So if you guys are all ready to give your individual orders, we'll put you guys in separate channels. Or does Crusader have anything left to tell all of his troops?
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll put you guys in separate channels though to speed this up.
Good luck,
Justin,
gentlemen.
I'll be on the hill behind the battery.
Okay, no problem.
I'm a
Good luck,
bit
everyone.
Good luck, everyone.
Good luck.
I'm a bit confused. Why is Marshall writing in Crusaders channel? Or
Oh
sending
he was-
screenshots?
no, I posted in the wrong channel.
He did it once to
And don't worry, ready. Just stay in the channel. I will move you to. Someone will go talk to you.
Okay, I fixed it.
Yeah, but yeah,
Alright, for folks watching on the live stream, we are outnumbered quite significantly according to our briefing. We have to essentially hold this crossroads back here at Berg, and we figured that the best way to do that is to kind of deploy forward, see if we can't detect them, and see if there's an opportunity to do a defeat in detail. Since it is likely they will take more than one avenue of approach to get to Berg, personally I think they're going to come perhaps as far west as Uckersdorf. They will certainly send something up the middle, up this road, which is where I will be defending, and they may even send something around to the east. Of course, if they do that, especially if they split their column into three elements, the opportunity for us to defeat one of those elements in detail will be present, and doing that will probably derail their plans. So we have a pretty good defensive position established. We have a full brigade in reserve, and we have good cavalry. So even though this ground isn't very good for cavalry, the valleys and such that are here should be just fine for cavalry operations. So we only have 2 batteries of artillery though, and they're light batteries, they're 6-pound guns. So the 6-pounders I've posted on a nice hill here with a good field of fire to the south where the enemy is likely to approach. I don't know where the other battery is going. I should have a brigade on my right flank here, extending out this way, something like this. So I am not unsupported. However, I don't think they will necessarily approach that way. I would expect that brigade to be pulled off towards the west or even shifted to the east if they are coming around that way. So we'll see. If they do, of course, come through there, they're going to have a really, really bad time. The terrain is not good. There'll be a reserve brigade behind them, which will be here. And, yeah, they'll be hitting us where we're strong. So, let's see what happens. Alright, let's check the YouTube to see if we have comments. None as of yet, but good. Feel free to say hello and ask. Oh, Achilles is there. Hello, Achilles. Good to see you. Feel free to ask questions, give your advice, encourage, criticize, whatever you like. For those of you who are watching this in the future, after the live game has been played, feel free to comment, ask questions, or other things. We do check those comments and we do come back and give answers. You can also view our website, which we're getting fleshed out. We've been working on it this past week, although the pages that we've added to it are not live as of today, which is July 8th or 9th. They will be live today or tomorrow in the next few days, I believe. That website is kriegspiel.org. I'm going to put it in the chat. And if you go to that site, you can see all of our resources and other things, how to join, how to get in these games, and more. So everybody is welcome. We have a couple of new players, in fact. Mr. Let's see, Paraha Shith. I can't pronounce the name, unfortunately. He's just joined us from India. Mr. Reddy is what he's going by here. So he's just joined us. And then we have another player who might be new, the General de Brigade Kostya. Again, I apologize, I can't pronounce some of these names very well. But we got a couple new players on the blue team. The red team has quite a few players. I don't know their names and such, but I'm supposed to change my name for the thing, and I'm not sure how to do that. Of course, everyone knows who I am, but maybe I leave it alone. I don't want to mess with... Oh gosh, yeah, there has to be a way to like change the player name, but we'll leave it there for now. The road network coming from the west is very limited, Achilles says, and you're correct, Achilles, but still I think that valley might be a tempting avenue of approach for them. I think they'll send cavalry up this here, so we have cavalry that's going to defend here, I believe, but I think they're going to send cavalry up this way and try to outflank us into Berg or something. So, we're watching for that. But yeah, I do think they're going to come up the middle. They're going to hit us where we're strong. But also it is possible they could try to sneak around to the east. They don't have very many avenues of approach that are very good or efficient. That's the problem that they have to grapple with. Even though they outnumber us, they might be, it might be kind of a Thermopylae situation where they're trying to hit us at Herborn and they have to try to batter through, which is why I want to have a reserve. Which is kind of hard to cover that whole line and keep even a couple battalions in reserve, but I think I've done so. let's see here. You're telling me to right click on my name and change the profile in the server. There we go. Activity. No, it doesn't let me do it. Hang on, edit profile. Oh my gosh, this is like a whole thing. User profile. User profile. It doesn't give me any options. See, like I have no options under user profile. So if I right click, click profile, let's see here. I click here, edit profile. I don't see an option there. I don't want to bother with it too much. I am going to turn my camera off so that folks can see more of the map, which looks more interesting than I do. But, hi everyone. Alright, there we go. Alright. Now y'all won't see when I fall asleep here at my computer, waiting for the next turn. One good thing about Otto is he runs a pretty tight ship, and the turns tend to be pretty quick. He runs the fastest turns of anyone in the group. I run my turns pretty fast too, but other umpires tend to take more time. Okay. And here's the briefing. Here's the briefing. Let me zoom in here. Let people have a quick peek at it. So here's the map. Alright, and if you have to, you just pause that to read it. I'll scroll through. Alright, there we go. I wonder if I should change my name to General de Division No Scope Gamer. Poor Otto. Oh man, okay. Let me right click. Oh, we have an update. Let's take a look at the update. Alright, oh, this is the kind of the starting situation. Okay, oh, look, I've got a bunch of commanders around me. It looks like we're having a party. We're all up on this hill. Okay. And the cavalry's back here rather than off on the flank. That's pretty conservative. And I don't know if we want to be that conservative right now, but
Good day, General.
good day.
I've come with news of both that you're co-located with the rest of the command. They're all visible around you. Your pickets are streaming back from the hill south of Kallenbach, and they send word that there's enemy cavalry approaching from the southwest.
Okay.
And you can actually see their vanguard. They report, from their reports, there are about 5 squadrons approaching in a broad line on either side of the road, and they can glimpse a dark line of. They expect infantry moving on the road itself.
Okay, that's fine. They can hit us where we're strong. We'll hold position. No new orders.
No problem. You are able to, I mean, I can also put you into Crusader's voice channel once as well, so because you can speak to him freely.
Okay, if they want, yeah, but I'm holding this position.
No problem.
Okay.
Actually, I can't drag you anywhere because you own the server, so you'll have to go there yourself.
Don't you have permissions, Justin?
All right, I'll
By the
say,
way, they're all located. So
yep, I'll move him up now. I did the briefing separately, and I'll drag him in.
Okay.
There we go. And there's someone else here, right?
Yeah, I think everybody's here.
Yeah,
I mean,
just a big.
everybody.
Yeah.
God.
See, Kostya should be there. Kostya is a bit in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, it is the best position for a commander to be. So
Yeah. It's good to be able to communicate.
yeah, I would say this is probably the highest point on the map, at least in the vicinity. So
Yeah. So Reddy should be here too.
I guess so.
Justin is here by them. But yeah, you see your troops set up as ordered. You see Marshall over there. And you can also see what appears to be, I think that's Saxon infantry. Yeah.
I think that's cavalry, but
Yeah, there's
You can't-
cavalry. It's cavalry down there.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that's cavalry.
Yeah, there's them rat-coated bastards.
Yeah, it's just a one line, not two.
Yeah, I see a second one south of to the south of the main road.
Yeah.
So there's 2 full brigades or whatever of cavalry. So about 8 squadrons at least, 2 commands.
Yeah, 8 squadrons of rat-coated bastards as usual.
Yeah. So on my right flank, they need to be prepared to deal with the cavalry, so they don't get outflanked. And then we have our cavalry in reserve, which might, you know, I don't know if we want to threaten their flank with ours, but I know we also have to keep an eye out to the east. Anyway, this is a good position and this is a good plan.
Even if it isn't, at this point we must commit to it.
Yeah.
Bad plan is still better than no plan.
I'll go take Kostya's order while I'm waiting. Will you discuss?
Crusader, are there any immediate orders for me?
At this point, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think we'll just see whatever they try to do. At least wait until we hear from some of the brigades, because that is just not their main force, or at least not all of it.
Yeah, and I think we should have more. I think that they already entered our view. Most soldiers have the main army might have entered our view. Hello, hello.
We're here. We hear you.
Yeah, probably. I'd
Well,
say.
when was the screenshot taken? Maybe a few minutes ago. I think the screenshot we should have another screenshot. Gentlemen,
Usually around 20 minutes. So
I didn't get that. Gentlemen,
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
It usually takes around 20 minutes for the next update to get out.
Okay, thank you for the information.
Oh,
Well, I have a question, gentlemen. Can we send scouts in this scheme? Hello?
yeah,
Yes.
we sent out some pickets.
No, we can't send. Can't we send individual riders?
Yes, you
Individual
can.
member.
Yes, you can give the order. However, at this point, we know where the enemy is, and the enemy is likely avenue of approach. So yes, you can give the order to send scouts. However, you're probably going to be too busy. You're probably going to be engaged and not going to be able to do much. So
Okay.
your concern is the area that you're assigned from your commander, which is to your immediate front. You don't have to worry about the distant flanks or anything now. That's something that Crusader will worry about. Our
Yeah, I
job
get
is
to.
what's right in front of
Okay.
us.
Later.
Yes.
I didn't take your orders before I left.
Well, I didn't think I have any orders.
You don't have any orders. Well done. Then I'll go back. Unless you have anything.
Um, I mean, I guess you wouldn't have left it out, but did we hear anything from the pickets?
From Pickett. Nothing new from Pickett, I think. Well, no.
Well, yes, that's it for me then.
Yeah.
Thank you. We probably need to get Kostya in here. The thing that's 20 meters ahead of us is a lot better view.
Are you winning?
Hey, Lord Hugs. Of course we're winning. We're always winning.
Marshall, knowing you during
Yeah,
all
I
this
know.
time,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know, man. If
but
it's
are you winning?
yeah, right? My dog's going crazy.
Dude, loving this mug, man. Glad I ordered it.
Right? Isn't it a cool mug?
Dude, it was a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, it's the 15-ounce one. I'm not going to do those little 11-ounce ones. 15-ounce for the
Dude,
IKS.
that's a good quality mug.
Yeah.
Also, I like how they put the logo and like the lettering and all that stuff on it. Like it's not like those little sticker things that they put on.
Yeah, no,
So like,
it's
so it won't
really
rub
good.
off in the dishwasher.
Yeah. No, it's a really good mug. I'll put the link to everyone in the YouTube to our store. Oh, that's probably not the right link. Let's see here. Craig's Depot. Well, it says it is. Alright, let's just put it in there. And yeah, you guys can order IKS merchandise. And yeah, the mugs are great. I've got mine going on right now. I'll turn my
Yeah,
camera
I just
on
had 2
and show
cups
it
this
off.
morning with it.
Yeah, it's great, man.
So are they already for sale?
What's the question?
Are they for sale, mugs?
Oh, yes, we have a little store where you can buy one if you like. You can buy 2 if you want. Some people buy a bunch. It's just whatever you want. I'll post I'll send you the link in your private chat, and you can just have a look at it.
I want to get my hands on that Rock Creek mug.
Right, that one's next for you, huh? Get the collection going.
Dude, I was there at the original Rock Creek dilemma. You put the Sam Miller one on there, but oh man, it was me and then like 1 or 2 other guys, and that it was the Grand Gettysburg test run. When that meme originally got created, and we were told that we weren't allowed to cross Rock Creek, and we're like, wait a minute. So we went and looked up on Google Earth, like or like Google Maps or whatever, and like pictures of Rock Creek, and it was literally like not even ankle deep or knee deep.
Yeah, this is a tiny little thing, and
Yeah,
and that's
we're
right.
sitting there. It was just like we're like, what?
Right. Yeah. Here's the store. We can do a commercial break. Here's the Rock Creek mug, where you can't cross. It's uncrossable. But Sam Miller crossed it. Well,
I continue the attack.
Yeah, I continue the attack. There you go. But anyway, yeah, we got the K22 rule set.
Okay, gentlemen, I'm just going to kidnap Commanders Blue 3 and Blue 4 into their channels when I need to brief them. Okay, so I'll kidnap Marshall first.
Okay, thanks.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
You observe the column moving up the road. Your pickets are all back inside your area, behind your breastworks. You can see from where you're sitting. You can see a slow moving column in whites and greys heading directly down the road towards Kallenbach in column. And you can see one of the bodies of horse you saw earlier still sort of sitting facing General Koschid's command. They haven't appeared to. You saw Koschid's forces adjust forwards. They're on the forward slopes. An eager man, always eager for blood and glory.
All right. No orders. Just as soon as they come in range of the artillery, they're to be taken under fire. Otherwise, no changes in orders.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
That was the incorrect move, Marshall. You should have just said, I continue the attack.
Right?
It's the only order you need to give.
I'll bump you back in blue one and grab ready.
One we see marching column on.
Oh, yeah. There was... So you see the cavalry?
Wow, dude, y'all must have like a huge like general staff meeting up in here.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, literally everybody's here. But the best thing, we didn't even plan it. It just happened to everybody wants to be on this hill.
Everyone loves the dolls.
Yeah, independently.
I notice hills don't actually have like at least as far as die rolls are concerned, I don't really notice a big difference like attacking uphill, downhill, level. Doesn't really affect gameplay itself. Most of the time. Just from my observation.
I mean,
but
it seems, it's nice up here. There's a lot better,
Yeah, we take the terrain into consideration.
I never notice it, dude. Like ever.
Yeah, it's a
Crusader or
Kostya, I have a single question.
Yep.
And that is, what is your infantry doing?
So my infantry just now it just stands on the hill, but it was turning right to face the enemy better.
I see. I think you should probably close up with the artillery to not have any gaps in our line.
Oh, so go a bit back.
I would say that should probably be a bit better. And this turn I'll order up the reserve artillery.
Sorry, can you repeat it?
I'll order up the reserve artillery to anchor your flank too.
Oh yeah. Can you all see the infantry coming from the west road?
Yes, we do. It seems they should be close enough so that the artillery can open up.
So Crusader. Gerard I can't pronounce
Yes, that one. Yes.
Your artillery is so far to the west of your front or of your line that they are in the forest. Just so you know.
What?
Yeah, that's how westward the line goes.
I didn't order them west, but
Oh, sorry.
I guess get out of the forest then.
Alright, where do you want them?
Well, just bring them up to our position.
Where you the general meeting is?
Yep, on the hill. Yep.
Yeah, alright. And any orders to the reserve line?
I just want them to move closer to the next valley.
Next valley, alright. Yeah. And while we're at it, Kostya, what was your orders?
So I want my infantry to go a bit back so they are standing next to the artillery on the hill.
Alright, yeah. Anything else?
No.
Alright, I'll move up.
So we have Saxons here, but we still have. I mean, I believe we probably have most of the coalition army unaccounted for.
Well, they'll be coming up probably again multiple routes of advance. This is probably the main attack, but I would not be surprised to find out they have stuff coming through Uckersdorf or even to our east. So we have to watch those positions because they're going to try to get through there. But then you send the reserve to defeat them in detail, and we should be in good shape. The reserve and the cavalry, let's say they're coming up to Uckersdorf, the reserve line and the cavalry both, if you commit them there, that should destroy whatever's coming up that way.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if we need all of these units here to defend this line. Although that cavalry's pretty serious. But that cavalry will also be attacking through bad terrain. It's certainly not going to go into the woods. So
Yeah, they basically have two options: to charge at the line frontally or try to flank through the woods. And either one isn't really best course of action.
Yeah. Well, if your line is anchored on the woods, there's no way that cavalry's going to outflank it. The cavalry will not go through the woods. They can't. So and we're anchored on the river. So the only choice they have is to hit us in the front. With all of the stuff that they have here, they have to hit us head on, which is where we're strong. Again, we've got breastworks, we've got a battery up here.
In fact, given you're all here at the moment, I might just brief you all if that works.
Yes.
Happy for me to just brief everyone in one room? Okay. You're all standing there together when the battery next to you opens up with a blast and begins bombarding the infantry positions across the valley. You see the beginnings of the infantry shaking out into line of battle, or is masked by the smoke. To the west, Koster's brigade is pulling back behind their hill, and they back in good order. To the east, you can see Marshall's behind the breastworks, while the cavalry to your north and Crusaders' reserves behind those continue to stay put. You see in the edge of the trees, you can see a battery of artillery beginning to work their way up between the firs on the slopes of Bachberg. Yeah, you've lost sight of anything else south there in the smoke, and you can hear very little. In fact, you're even hearing each other talk when the guns fire because they're very close to you.
Mm.
And,
Outstanding.
and still no word from the pickets.
Marshall's pickets have reported in. I don't know about anyone else's pickets.
All right.
Suda, maybe there's a report. Maybe there's a report from these pickets here.
I have. Oh, what are those? I don't know anything about them. I
Okay.
haven't.
Yeah. All right. No problem. I'll handle it. There's a posture. You receive a report from your pickets out in Daswalchen. They report seeing cavalry moving towards them, towards Uckersdorf and Amdorf in that general direction, and that they have now pulled in.
Where were those pickets located?
Amdorf.
Okay. That's the other expected move with cavalry. That's what I think he's going to send cavalry up that avenue around to Berg.
Okay. Any immediate orders, or do you want to continue your discussion?
No orders for me. I think he's going to have to. That cavalry can't go through the woods. It's stuck in that valley up Uckersdorf.
Yeah.
Well, we could have an opportunity.
Yeah, our cavalry can probably ambush them, at least, or at least give them a fright at that Y-shaped valley, because they don't see them on the approach.
Mm.
Let's see. Well, I mean, so yeah, I'd say if we receive reinforcement that they are indeed moving up north, then I will dispatch the cavalry to deal with them.
Okay.
And there's still a chance that they're not going to move up there for whatever reason. And we do have pickets at Uckersdorf.
Wait, you last turn you wanted the reserve lines to march forward? Closer?
Yes.
Yeah, alright. And any new orders?
Not for now.
And the cost, yeah?
No, no orders.
No orders. Alright.
Good day, gentlemen.
Hello.
It is 0845. The smoke is artillery is pounding. The smoke is spreading and is blinding across your front. You have reports from Marshall's brigade in Herborn that there is a battle line of it looks like 6 brigades advancing aggressively up the road from the southwest. A courier, a rapid riding man has come up to your rear from your north, reporting that he is the vedette who was in Uckersdorf, and a brigade of Saxon cavalry has passed through. They're heading. You can see Crusade brigade advancing in columns in between General Reddy's dragoons, heading into form a local reserve line. There's no other sound no other sounds you can hear over the pounding artillery next to you.
All right, I'm going to move towards Hebron, to the location between Hebron and Dal Hill or Dahlberg or whatever.
Okay. Yep.
So I'm in a
No
more
problem.
central location to command my forces.
And can actually see what's going on. Yep.
Yeah, and then of course reserves are to go forward if needed or as needed. So if anything breaks, the reserves are to plug the hole.
No problems. Any orders from you, General Reddy?
I mean, before he has to, I guess.
Okay.
I would like to the cavalry brigade to move to intercept and try to ambush the Saxon cavalry heading up valley.
Heading up where?
If you're talking, General Reddy, you're muted and we can't hear you.
Well, Justin, I'm having immediate orders to try
Okay.
and ambush Saxon cavalry.
Yep. Okay. Where and how do you want to do that? Do you want? I mean, you know where you believe the Saxon cavalry is. You know they passed through Uckersdorf recently. You've got all your dragoons here beside immediately to your north. Where do you want to go with them in order to try and ambush the Saxon cavalry?
Well, Crusader didn't mention anything. He just asked me to try and ambush the
Yeah.
Saxon cavalry.
You'll kind of need to figure out how you do that.
Yep. So you're the resident cavalry expert, at least for today. So how do you want to do that? If they're passing north, and if you believe them to be heading to, I don't know, it depends where you believe they will head when they hit the end of the valley, whether you think they'll go northwest or east. You know they probably can't go through the dense forest immediately to your west, because that's hideous. That's very bad cavalry ground. But they'll probably go west or east when they hit the valley to the north.
Well, once. Well, if there are any Saxons to the east of my position, try and ambush them.
Okay. So you want to line up. Okay. You want to line up your forces facing the river to your east, and if you see any cavalry around there, you want to try and attack them.
Well, I don't think east is towards the river. It's opposite of the river, right?
No, west is opposite of the river. North is up. The river is to your east. The river is right on the map, which is to your east. The forest is west, where the trees are.
Well, the river is east, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So then attack any Saxon cavalry from the west. Actually, sorry, I didn't understand before, but please
No
attack. Please try and ambush any Saxon cavalry to the west of my position. That's my
Okay, no
final order.
No worries. So you head north and attack any cavalry approaching from the west down that valley. Got it.
Yeah.
And are you heading with your? I'll send you with your command, or are you staying here with the command meeting?
Well, I'll stay here.
Okay, no problem.
Right. And Crusader, your orders. Your men are moving south, and they are arriving. They're currently arriving over by that little valley over there.
Yes, just line up.
Yep. Line up. And Kostya, any new orders?
No.
Nope. Alrighty. Then I'll move on.
And Justin, don't forget to move my avatar, man.
I moved it first. It's already
Sweet.
gone. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay, so Roddy, I would say at least after the next turn. I mean, the conference is already breaking up, so just head with your dragoons. That's probably for the best. If I understand their intentions, at least from our reports, it seems they're going to go head on at Herborn.
Yeah, we've done everything we can at Herbon, so either we hold or we don't.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I mean, there's not much more I can do to improve this position. However, if I see that his flank is exposed to the units at Dahlberg, I might send those 2 battalions to strike on the flank to counterattack.
yeah, I still have my brigade here, so if any opportunity opens up,
Yeah.
probably go at him.
More likely, you might want your brigade to be ready to defend behind Hebron, because if my line collapses, your brigade will be the one that hits the enemy on the flank as they try to push through. So
Yes,
watch
exactly.
for that. Watch for that. There's an opportunity there. Now, if they cross that bridge at Hebron and start going north, you can always go up the main road to Berg. Probably get there before they do.
Yeah, then we need to counter march.
Yeah. But this is a pretty good position, and I would expect that we'll hold with the breastworks and everything. But we'll
And
see.
in a few minutes there'll be 2 batteries of artillery banding their flank.
Good.
Gentlemen,
Yes.
can I know what symbol says that there's a forest nearby? Such as, is it green? If there's green
No.
on map, does that mean there's a forest there?
No.
Yeah.
Do you
Please
see
say
the
me.
little? They look like the little letter A or the letter V upside down. I can take a screenshot and show you.
Yeah, please show me that.
Okay, I'll take a little screenshot here, and then I'll draw on it for you. I will circle in red the trees. Okay, and then I'm gonna do a screen of the screen just so I can paste it. And you are in. You know what? I'll post it to your chat. So take a look in
Okay.
your chat channel. You see those little symbols? Those are trees.
1 second. Let me check my chat.
General Marshal, I'm just going to kidnap you now.
Okay.
All right. I think I've been moved. I
You
hope.
have joined you.
Okay. I was answering a question, but that's okay. I think we're good. Let's see here. Let's see this screenshot.
So you can see the brigade approaching the town. One of the battalions has just been broken by enfilade fire. It looks like there's some chaos and disorder spreading through the formation, and they are stalled outside your musket range.
Okay, yeah, we continue to attack or defend rather.
You can see what looks like the head of a column of cavalry approaching on the east bank of the river.
I see that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, let's take the. Let me see. Let me zoom in here. But this is the 69th Battalion. Get them
Yep.
across that bridge. Put them in square on the other on that bridge.
Okay.
On the other side of that bridge, put them in square there, please.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me find the appropriate token. There it is.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other orders?
No, but I'm probably going to send a dispatch to my commander.
Okay, no
So
problem.
I'll
look
write
out.
that real quick.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I'm sending a dispatch, and now I can talk a little more because I'm not in the general chat. Dispatch to my commander. Cavalry moving up the road east of the river, sending one battalion to form square and hold the lower bridge. They may bypass and go north to Berg. Actually, with that forest there, they can't go through that forest. So that might be a good plug right there. We might hold them there actually very well. So let's see what happens. Maybe I shouldn't have even put them in square. I should have just said guard against cavalry. But all right. Yeah, okay, so let's take a look here. We got some comments. Out of Middenbach, screened by the Thiergarten, would have been a nice approach. Yeah, I don't think they started able to try that. I think they started down here. But yeah, you're right. Going up this way would have been virtually unopposed. Marching simulator for that commander. He'd be playing marching simulator because he would not be likely see much combat in the game. But I think they started down here. It's probably along this road and such, and we're kind of compelled to hit us head on. Let's see. Figured out how to change my name. Yes, I did. I've changed it to General de Brigade Marshal de Shins. Shanes or whatever, which means dogs. Because, well, dogs. I like dogs, as everyone knows. Let's see. I have a sneaking suspicion that I know what is going to happen next, says Achilles. And they moved off to your right, and I think so as well. I think they've crossed at some point, maybe down here in the south, and they're going to try to come up towards Berg. So it's up to Crusader now, my commander-in-chief. He's got this cavalry, which should be in reserve. It's up to him to decide, does he send it up here, or what does he do? Does he wait? Is he more concerned about something going on over here? He's got a lot of tough choices, and the problem is none of those choices might be very good. On the other hand, I could also do something about this. I've got another battalion in reserve, which I could send here or out here, even across here, to kind of trip up or delay something. The problem is, well, number one, that's my reserve. Number two, I don't want to send an element of my force so far away I can't command it. Number three, this is my job right here, is defend Herborn. That's my job. I need to do that job and not worry about the big picture. That's my commander's job. If I wanted to be the commander, I should have asked to be the commander and taken the division commander slot, but I didn't. I took a brigade slot, so I need to be a brigade commander. So, yeah, Achilles says that it's possible they have infantry behind the cav, and that is possible as well. And again, if there is infantry sighted there, then we do have to pull at least a brigade around back to Berg and find ground back there that we can defend. But we'll see. I'm of the impression that their main attack, or one of their main big attacks, is coming right at us here, and we're gonna keep pounding the snot out of them. And if we have an opportunity to defeat them in detail, then we do that. Then we are in good shape to defeat them elsewhere as well. So we could have a defeat in detail situation on our hands with all of this infantry getting so beaten up. Let's take a look at the official. All this infantry down here getting beaten up. Look, you got infantry here going this way. So you know he's got forces that are going to our left. You've got cavalry over here. You've got these guys who are not going to make it. I don't think our center is going to be strongly threatened. I think they recognize that the center is a strong defensive position for us, and they're going to start streaming around both flanks. So we'll wait for this one more update. I may send that dispatch out to my commander-in-chief, but I've already sent him one dispatch. So let's kind of hang out and see how this develops. Again, all I can do is report here. Here's what I see. But it's up to my commander-in-chief to worry about the big picture stuff more. And you can hear in the background that I like dogs. I'm going to mute my mic. The puppy is playing with the old dog, the senior dog, and the senior dog doesn't like it. All right. Still standing by. Looks like it's a longer turn than normal. There's probably a lot of contact elsewhere. All of the generals are still congregated on top of Dahlberg. Um, well, I just hope the baddies aren't punching through in other locations. Yeah, I have a feeling though that they've realized that this is a strong point and this probably isn't a viable avenue of approach. And even going east is going to be pretty tough. Instead, I think their main attack will have to go through Uckersdorf. They'll be probing on the right. Obviously, they had to test the center just in case. But really, it's going to be on our to our west that we're going to see the main attack come through, I think. And yeah, it's fun trying to guess. That's why I like broadcasting these, because you guys enjoy guessing along with me. And get to think, well, what I would do, which is always pretty cool. Of course, the best thing is for you all to join and actually get in on the game. But if someone's having a bad day here in the center, I would expect them to retreat and fall back. Alright, there's the new report. And it looks like, yes, they did retreat as expected. I don't see anything on my right, so they may have turned off the road. Alright, it creates a little dilemma, huh? I need permission to leave the position, but I really do want to get across to the east.
Good day, sir.
Good day.
Good news from the 1st Battalion of the 69th. They won their foot race. They bolted across there. They saw the cavalry break off to the northeast and head up the ridge there. They're now in square, blocking the road at the other end of the bridge.
All right.
To your south, you can see what looks like the Prussian formation that the artillery was pounding has fallen back to reorganize at the crest of the hill. To your south,
Mm-hmm.
to the south and west, you can see a Saxon column veering to the northwest instead of challenging your position.
Yeah.
Although it looks like the lead formation of that, you can just glimpse, is shaking out into a battle line.
Yeah. Okay. Send.
The artillery to your west has stopped firing.
Yeah. Okay. Send the 101st Battalion across to. Ah, jeez. Where would they have gone if they're just going to go cross country, huh? Send the 101st up to Chiton M or whatever. I mean, that's a name. There's a little
Yep.
farmhouse up there. Send
They're
them up
coming in.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, they're
Yep.
to move that way, and I'll send another dispatch. I need to know the size of that force that's going that way, but really that's more of a commander-in-chief problem than me. But I'd like to have at least something across there, so go ahead and send that battalion, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other orders at this time?
Nope.
Okay, not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So I've sent a dispatch to my commander saying, look, I think they're moving northeast. I've sent my reserve across the river, but I really can't do much. I can't, go fight them. Can't chase them down. I can't send all my units all over the place out of command and control. They're probably headed up to Berg. And it's really on him to manage that. We're getting into a situation where probably does have to dispatch the cavalry up to Berg and start sending all or a portion of his reserve brigade up there as well. And yeah, we'll see. I think this position can be held as it is, although I don't know really what's going on to the west. But I don't know if we should hang out here much longer, or maybe we should actually counterattack and destroy while the reserves go back to Berg to defend it. Achilles says indeed it's better to play, And you ask about the K-22 game. It's actually going to be in 2 weeks. Next week, I gave the weekend up to Heinz, who wants to run a naval event, and he has one of those schedules where he works a lot of weekends, and he arranged childcare and everything. So I was like, okay, you can have that week, and I'll take the one following, and that works. So 2 weeks from now, yeah, we'll run a K-22. Okay, I'm going to step away, and I'll be back in a few. All right. Achilles anticipates that, or thinks that, that was only cavalry. If he had infantry, he would have hit me there. I'm inclined to agree. But I don't know the size of the Cav force, and the Cav force could still come around behind us and take the objective. And we probably want to hold that. So Hello, Eli. Good to see you in the chat. The Austrians, or the coalition, have to kind of attack up to Berg and capture Berg. But they, I think, started from a limited position. The main attack, which predictably came up the main road, seems to have already turned back. I think they recognize it's a bad position for them to attack. They're probably testing our flanks on the right and the left. And it's now a situation of where to put the reserve to defend those flanks. I think the main attack is going to come here actually from the west and around. But he does have scouts, at least cavalry, moving around to the east. So we're going to have to deploy units in both directions. He does still have units here in the center. I don't know if he's going to test our center again. If he does, he'll just lose. Good to see you, though. Good to see you here.
Good day, sir.
Hello, Justin.
You observe that your infantry battalion moves up to the Captain Mill and sets up a square in and around that strong point. At about the same time, you see the head of a column of Saxon cavalry appear on the heights to the northeast and stop when they see your men formed and awaiting them. To your south, you can see the Prussian formation reforming on the heights. To the southwest, you can see a Saxon formation forming facing the northeast, and the artillery to your west has opened up again.
All right.
To
No,
your
go ahead.
north and west, you can see the French cavalry formed facing north and west.
Yeah. Okay. No changes in orders.
No problem. Any
Thank you.
changes to your personal position or stay put?
Stay put.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right. Eli says I'd put the reserves on the right. It's gnarly terrain on your left, which means I believe you're looking at it. I don't know which way you're looking at it though. If you mean our right or the right on the map. Um, but on the right, it's gnarly terrain on your left, bad ground to attack from, and a creek that would slow down the advance in your flank from there. Yes. If you have scouts, place them near Berg in case the enemy decides to swing around you to capture the town. And yeah, we're already moving to hold that position and make sure they can't do that. See their battalion's a little strung out on the crest. I expect they're either a less experienced commander or they're in a hurry. Yeah. I think they're going to try to test the center again. And this is a big column. And it's actually two columns. It's a Saxon column and a Prussian column. And I think we're in good position, at which point they're going to try to test the center again, which is where we're strong. So it'll be a better attack than last time, but with forces going to Berg, and hopefully there's still something looking at Ukersdorf, because there was cavalry, I think, at least probing that way. We might be in a really good shape against them. Yeah, put the reserves on our left. Yeah, that's what I would do too, Eli. We have the same read of the situation. That's good. I feel a lot better now. Eli, so you guys know, is a Marine. So Eli knows his stuff. So if Eli's right, I'll have to send him a pack of crayons as a reward. LOL, says Eli. There you go. There's a joke about Marines. For those who don't know, that Marines eat crayons. My brother was in the Marines. He would eat dog treats, so can't say it's not necessarily true. However, I wouldn't want to be in a Marine's path under any circumstances. So. Eli says, make sure they're red. Red is my favorite flavor. You got it, man. All right. You know, they say the streets of heaven are guarded by the United States Marines. And that's just proof positive that God does not like Marines. Makes them work even in heaven. Eli says another one is that we don't die, we just go to hell and regroup. That's great. Now, Achilles is Army, I believe. I think Achilles is an Army veteran. I could be wrong, but I think he is. And as for me, well, I'm a veteran too, a veteran of the Cola Wars. So, I remember the Cola Wars. survived, obviously, and the Cupcake Wars, which they never teach about in school. And of course, I was first caught up in the sexual revolution, but I was quite young. I was captured early and spent the duration doing dishes. Eli and Achilles going on about the crayons in the chat. True story, I went to the movie theater and I was asked if I was a veteran, and I said I'm a veteran of the Cola Wars, and they gave me the veterans discount. These kids, they don't know. Achilles says he's pretty sure the pork patty MRE was a dog treat. When I was a kid, my brother brought home some MREs and I ate the heck out of them. I thought it was just the funnest thing in the world. But yeah, you're right. As an adult, you look back and you're like, yeah, I wouldn't want to, subsist on those. But I thought it was fun. I've actually purchased some just for a emergency kit. I think they're good for that. If there's ever an earthquake or whatever. I live in California, so we have earthquakes. Um, ever have something like that and you need an emergency food supply, having, even just a few days worth of MREs is not a bad idea. Eli says he ain't lying, that thing was disgusting. How do you guys determine when you're in the field who gets what MRE? And Achilles says yes, he was in the army. But how do you determine that? I imagine you get an assortment in a case, or is the case of MREs all one kind? And then what do you do? Do you draw straws or do you just hand them out at random and you get what you get? Or kind of curious how that works. Is there a pecking order? Lance Corporal so and so gets the good one, but Private so and so gets the pork patty. I'm sure there is those guys who open all the MREs and take out the good stuff. And I'm sure that there's a thriving trade between soldiers of MREs and MRE condiments. I would expect that for sure. But Eli and Achilles can enlighten us. In the meantime, we're waiting for a report. I'm waiting for that attack to come in, and I think we should do just fine. Especially if we have 2 batteries, although I don't see the second battery. Eli says, comes in a box of several different ones. First come, first serve. Don't be the guy that gets to the box after everybody else goes through it. You'll be stuck with that nasty veggie lasagna garbage. Wow. First come, first serve, huh? Well, that's bad news. My brother said they made him go dumpster diving behind the chow hall when he was in boot camp. So, Achilles says, so right, don't be last. That would be an interesting moment in boot camp when they take you to the dumpster and say, dig in. Sounds disgusting. I'm sure it violates health and safety standards. But at the same time, hey, if you're in the service and you're in the field, or you're behind enemy lines or something's happened, you got to get nutrition wherever you can, and you got to get over that stuff. We want soldiers who defend our nations to be capable and tough and resilient. And that's why the training has to be that way. The training has to reinforce that. So, yeah. Achilles says, unfortunately, as an officer, I was always last. Well, there you go. Yeah, it's some life, man. Eli Gray, E4 Mafia, bro. Life as a corporal was good to go. That's great. You guys might be interested to know that Lord Hugs
Hey,
is joining the army and goes off on Monday. All right, hey, my commander-in-chief is here. Go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to check up on the position. My screenshot isn't in yet, so
Yeah, obviously they're forming for an attack along our front, or so it seems. I expect them to test this position again. I think we'll throw them back. I sent my entire reserve, in fact, both of my reserve battalions across the river, because enemy cavalry is active there, and they're now in our rear, just south of Galgenberg, which is the hill that's immediately south of Berg. And I just got a report here. Let's see. It looks like, from what I can see, and you'll probably get the same picture. Oh, it looks like our cavalry's gone behind us and is operating. Okay, maybe I can pull in my reserve.
Good day, gentlemen.
okay.
Good day.
Okay. The artillery continues firing from your west, and you see what looks like a converging attack on General Koster's position to your west. You can see Prussians marching up from the south, and you can see a line of some sort of infantry to the west, and you can see you can't hear it over the artillery, but you can see musket smoke rising in the distance. From immediately north of your position, you saw a squadron of dragoons come clattering through the town and head northeast through past the square at Captain Mill towards Galgenberg. But you can't see any signs of combat up there. However, the coalition cavalry in the area has drawn back in the face of the French cavalry. To your northwest, you saw a glimpse of movement in the edge of the trees at de Buchenberg, but a rush of French cavalry in that direction seems to have put paid to whatever they were doing up there.
Um, shall I order the 105th Battalion to hit him on the flank?
Can I sneak in also that should Ready be here?
No, not yet. Ready? Sorry, I put you back in your channel.
Okay, so I expect the Prussians or the Saxons are going to attack, obviously.
Hold on, I think Crusader should get a report from his infantry too. Should he?
Yeah, he'll get an update from them. Yes, they can report where they are.
Yeah, because so they are setting up over there in Borg, but the ones who are set up by the crossing, they have the supply trains right in front of them on the other side of the river, and
Wait, what?
yeah, you have a supply, a bunch of supply trains on the other side of the river by Borg.
Oh wait, so they're on that side of the river.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Justin, would they be able to see what's happening over?
They can't see exactly what's going on, but they see a lot of men running around in panic.
Yeah.
And they can hear some shots fired from across the river.
Yeah, I want every single battalion that is not holding up the Western Valley to move across and try to restore some semblance of order. And I'll probably go with them too.
All right, so you'll
So
try
I
to
myself
make.
will move up. Yes.
Yes. All right.
Okay, what do you want me to do?
I mean, really good question. I'll probably need to think about it.
I'll let you guys discuss it and think about it. I'll come back for orders. Marshal, I'll go talk to General Reddy.
Okay, thank you. Obviously, there's an attack here at the center, and we can't just give up the center. The real question is
Exactly.
if we pitch into their flank as they go forward, which we also have the artillery, which can do a lot of damage to them as they approach. Um, do they have a force on the west side or the east side of the river?
It seems so. I
Go to Kostya meanwhile.
I don't know if yeah. So the overall situation, Kostya is holding the hill as previously. Reddy is currently responding to the enemy cavalry moving into the forest, and I see that he dispatched 2 squadrons to deal with the cavalry there. And I don't know if that was from you. I would assume that it was from you. That I had a few dispatches of enemy cavalry movement to the east of the river.
Yes, those were from me. Do we have forces going back to Berg?
Yes, I sent my entire infantry brigade
Good.
already, like half an hour ago,
Yeah,
to secure the position.
we might actually be fine. I wouldn't overreact. There's a lot of units to our front. So we at least need to give them a good shellacking here before we
Yeah,
start stripping this line.
yeah. I
So,
mean, I just sent my brigade there. I didn't want to send anything else. I'll just move up to make sure that is enough there, and
okay.
I'll restore the order up there.
Once we repulse this attack here, they're probably defeated in detail to our front, and then we can move back towards Berg, Galgenberg. There's 2 crossings right here in Heilbronn. We can maybe even pinch or attack them on 2 flanks. But we
I
do.
mean,
I think we need to repulse this attack here first, and then once it's repulsed, then we can. At least my brigade can move back towards Galgenberg, and
yeah,
maybe catch him.
I think Kostya's men can spread out a little more thin. He's currently set up in 2 lines. So yeah, if the situation is really that urgent, then we can let this defense let Kostya handle this defense.
Hmm. Hmm. So you want me to wait here for one turn to help dispel this attack, and then you want me to just wait and see, or what?
I'll move up north. I'll see the situation up there, and I think I will decide after that.
Perfect.
Until then, I think see as you see, do as you see fit.
Very well. Thank you.
So your orders are hold the valley, and the other units are moving into to the east of Berg to protect the supply train.
Yeah, I want the reserve units that I assume are just west of Berg to move in, and along with that battalion that follows the crossing to
All right.
yeah, try to scare off anything that has been there.
All right. Got it.
And I must will be there. Yep.
And you are moving with your units.
Yeah, I'll move up to Berg.
Yeah. Into Berg, or you follow with the units across the river?
Yeah, I'll be there to command my units.
All right. Yep. Let's go.
This is my first time as side commander, and it is really stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
Everything's
guess.
on you.
Yeah. Guess we'll see in the briefing.
Yeah, I have some difficult decisions, but you have the really tough ones because you have to make the big decisions.
Right now, I'm here for your decisions, General Marshal. What are you up to?
We're going to hold position. However, if the enemy attacks the line to my west, and there is an opportunity for the 105th Battalion to catch the enemy on the flank. They are to leave their position and deliver a few volleys on the flank. They are not to pursue, however, if the enemy should retreat. We'll let the artillery do most of the work.
So artillery firing, you said 100. Sorry, repeat that with 105th. Sorry.
Yeah, 105th are the first and second half battalions.
Yep.
Or first and second battalion of the 105th are immediately east of the 6-pound battery on Dahlberg.
Yes.
So those two battalions are to flank and destroy anything that comes forward if the opportunity is present.
Okay.
You know, obviously, if they're attacked head on, they'll hold. But if there's an enemy flank exposed, I want them out there to shoot into it.
Yeah, no problem.
So, otherwise, there's no orders from me. I'm sorry if that's a little conditional or complicated, but
No, that makes sense. I know what they're doing based on what you just told me.
perfect.
Yeah, just a second. I have a question for you.
Yep.
By any chance, did you tell Raddy to message me?
No.
Okay, just yep. Didn't think so.
Did he?
Yeah. Just I'd say tell him how to do dispatches
Sure.
because I
Yeah, no
didn't
problem.
think he knows how to. Yeah, help him out with that.
Yeah, no problem. No worries. I'll go talk to him. Thank you.
All right, let's see. Those of you on the live stream. Eli says, I wonder if they're not expecting you to leave your positions at the town of Hebron. Might be an opportunity to counterattack the flank if they advance. Yes, and I think that's just the order I just gave. Also, once their attack here is repulsed, I may also leave and go north, or actually northeast, because I would bet you they have an exposed flank up there, especially if they're engaged at Berg. So that's the plan. And then at that point, once I would consider them defeated in detail. So I think the game could end in 1 or 2 turns now. Of course, that's my narrow picture of it. It could be a disaster unfolding everywhere else. But
Our common narrow picture.
What's that?
Our common narrow picture.
Yeah, I hope they hit us here, and they should be repulsed. The position is strong. Did he put up breastworks?
Kostya, I think he missed it, but his
Hmm.
position is strong as it is.
Okay.
If they try to, I think the Saxons are trying to move to attack through the valley or through the woods, so something like that. I mean, I already have an artillery unit moving up the berg to, in case they try to attack through the valley.
Yeah.
That position should be well enough defended.
Good. Yeah, I think we're in good shape. And you sent Ready to Ukersdorf or north of it to the north to watch that approach.
Yes, I sent him up there to intercept the Saxons that were moving up there, but those Saxons disappeared into the woods, so he's currently basically screening them.
Were they infantry or cavalry?
Cavalry.
Oh, they shouldn't be operating in the woods then.
Yeah, they'll probably move at snail's pace, or not even that.
Yeah, I mean you just don't move cavalry through woods. The horses can't, they'll get injured. It's too treacherous. But anyway, okay.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's the hope for us too.
Yeah.
They'll just get disordered enough so that the force remaining squadrons can swiftly get rid of them.
Well, we have the advantage of interior lines, and that's what we're illustrating here.
Yes, exactly.
So
Basically, whatever they try to do, we can just respond to it faster than they can attack.
yeah, well, that's why it's important to have that reserve, and putting the cavalry there in reserve too is brilliant. So
Yeah, basically all the approaches to Berg are really drawn out paths that we can see the entrance to. So if they take it, we know they took it.
yeah,
I'll probably order Kostya to send out pickets back into the woods.
mm,
So we'll know if they try to move through the woods. Otherwise, I'd say let them throw at us whatever they have, and when they kind of stop doing that, we can consolidate our position
yeah.
or counterattack.
I am concerned about the reports around Galgenberg, so I think maybe um, once we repulse them here, I should head north that way with my brigade. You know, head to the northeast, cross here at Herborn, because then we would come up behind them. If they're hitting your reserves at Berg, and then I come behind them at Galgenberg, that would defeat them in detail there. Because they don't have a large force attacking Berg. I can almost guarantee that.
Yeah, I believe it's just a cavalry raid.
Yeah, that's probably the case. Because getting infantry, like they'd have to have infantry on that main road going, and they didn't go through me. They veered off to the northeast.
They
And
might be taking the earth roads.
I mean they just don't have time to make that wide flanking march through that terrain up to Berg, I don't think. I think that's why we see so many units here. You've got at least two divisions to our front from two different commands. You have
Yeah,
Saxons and Prussian commands to our front, so
yes, and that might even be the whole force, for all we know.
it could be, but I doubt it. But yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a good read on it. Cavalry raid in the east, and I would bet you there's a pretty good sized attack they're trying to push through Ukersdorf cross country, even though the roads aren't very good. So we'll see. We'll see if they attack us here. If they don't attack us here, they could just be trying to pin us. All right, I got a report. Let me see this. Yeah, it looks like they did attack and they've been repulsed, although I can't see much. The 105th Battalion did come out from its breastworks and attack. They've suffered some disruption and are low on ammunition. So I'll need to recover those forces, but otherwise it looks like we put them to the run.
Good day, sir.
Hello.
Okay, glorious action. You see the artillery wreaking havoc vaguely through the smoke. You see some of the Prussian line heading north is broken up and starts falling back. Seizing the initiative, your 105th advances and engages the enemy and drives off even more. The whole Prussian brigade seems to be routing and fleeing off again. Or so they report. They report their blood is up, the enemy is reeling, and they wish to pursue and press the attack.
Yeah, the
Uh,
answer, that's the 105th? The answer
Yep.
is no. They are to recover, and I've got one that's low on ammo.
Yes.
2nd Battalion needs to recover.
All right. The cavalry to your northwest you can vaguely see, has drawn back. It's reformed, still facing west. You've lost sight of the cavalry of the French cavalry to your northeast. They are doing something up beyond your battalion up that way. But so far, you're holding all sides of Herborn successfully.
Okay, yeah, so have the 105th recover and resupply.
Okay.
And I have to wait here for orders, so just recover and resupply.
Are the 105th recovering and resupplying in situ, or do you want them to pull back to the breastworks?
They can fall back to their breastworks if they can still recover and resupply. There is
Okay.
fine.
All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, so the plan went according to plan, which is unusual, very rare for something like that to happen. Now, my screenshot, as you can see, is quite limited because it would be the smoke from the engagement limits what I can see, but I can see down here that the Prussians are in retreat and out of ammo. I still have my formations in square across the river. That's my reserve. Haven't needed to use them at all other than to monitor those positions. I don't even know if I've lost any troops. Like, not one man. Someone might have a hangnail, but no casualties, which is nice. Now I have to wait to see if I'm going to head up north or what we're going to do. But I don't think I need to keep holding this position. I'm very skeptical, especially with the enemy repulse. I really want to head up towards Galgenberg. Achilles, I see your comment, and I do agree. We'll have to arrange that. Oh man, I really just want to start moving northeast. Really want to do that right now. And give that order if Justin can receive it. Alright, let's draw this out. Alright. Okay, so I've given orders to move all but the 105th Battalion, which needs to recover, off to the northeast. I'm just taking the initiative to do it because if they have a large cavalry force or anything there really, moving that way would probably give us an opportunity to crush that in detail. If I go up there and I spend 15 minutes moving that direction and there's not much there, or it's all resolved, I can come back pretty quick. And with the 105th, and there's nothing to my front, so with the enemy put to flight, unless he has a second wave ready to go to get a fresh one, which I highly doubt, he's not going to push through Herborn right away. He's probably not even going to see that it's been undefended. So I think we can get away with this for 15 minutes, and then if we have to, we come back. That'd be another 15 minutes. But I think it would take that long for the enemy to kind of recover and decide what to do next. So we have to multiply our forces in. Multiplying forces means you have to kind of sometimes be two places at once. Like Jackson's foot cavalry, if you will, in the Shenandoah campaign. So, waiting on Justin here. Justin is still with Mr. Reddy, who is a new player, doesn't have Tabletop Simulator. Probably has a lot of questions. You gotta start somewhere. Eli says, I'm skeptical of what's going on in the background. They show up, withdraw, then attack. They knew the line was strong, so why attack? Something about that doesn't mesh. Yeah, as I mentioned, they could be just trying to pin us here. That's why I think moving off the position and heading up towards what should be their main objective is probably one of the better things we could do. We might spook them away. I do think it's just a cavalry raid, but again, like it had been mentioned previously, if this was a main attack, if they had infantry, they would have hit us. They didn't. Plus, I don't see a route for infantry. Like, they would have to be marching cross country up these hills. They could take these trails here. But that would just be slow. I think the main attack is actually Uckersdorf. So, sure, the commander might have made a dumb order to attack, but situations like this are rarely from enemy stupidity. There's always a reason. Yeah. No, this could be a pinning attack. Although to pin the enemy, I don't think you actually have to attack. You just have to deploy, and at what point they don't attack. Achilles says, agreed, Eli. It makes me feel like they intend the main battle in the west, and the attack on Hebron is a demonstration. Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Of course, that's actually the best route to the objective is because the main highway runs through there. You can't just leave that uncovered. But I think we can hold it now with one brigade and a battery. So, I almost wonder if I need to be taking the road to the north rather than off to the northeast. But I like the idea of maybe catching an enemy on the flank. But what do I expect? If this is a cavalry raid, moving this way isn't necessarily going to do much. On the other hand, if a main attack has circled around to Berg, then coming around up here would be good timing. On the other hand, I've already given the order, so I probably need to live with it. Eli says if that's the case, Marshall should advance. If it's demonstration with a smaller force, he should attack and crush that wing of the army and swing around towards the enemy. I don't know that it's a smaller force. Our reports indicated we were outnumbered 2-1 by coalition. So I'm reluctant to attack necessarily when they have equal or better numbers. Our units are mostly conscripts anyway. So this isn't your usual French Space Marine infantry. On the other hand, yeah, if there's weakness, we want to do that, but really the big prize is to our rear, and we don't want to just give that up. Eli says, hit them on the flank over there. They might capture the town with a cavalry raid, but it isn't going to matter if the enemy is destroyed or routed. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I'm beginning to question my order here. Let's see if... I don't know if Justin even caught it. He just went right back to the Empire table, so this order might not even get processed. Alright, we'll see when the report comes in. If the order doesn't get processed, we'll move north up the main highway. Yeah, they're conscripts, Eli. They're not going to be able to hold up. But just appearing on the flank should, do a lot for us. But man, the other problem too is if they come around the west, what roads do they take? You got a trail here and another trail here. Well, hi, puppy. Zephyr. Zephyr. Hey, good boy. Hey. Hey. Alright. You should be close to the end here. About one more turn, I think, and I think they'll call it. Yeah, it's a slow march on either side, though. There's just not a lot they can do. But I am concerned that maybe they have gone this way with the column. The cavalry could be screening that, and we wouldn't know. But without, good intel from Ukersdorf, supposedly I put scouts out here to the south. But if those scouts are cut off by enemy infantry, they're not going to get reports back to me. So that's possible too. Yep. You're right, Achilles. Remember what happened to Yan when he attacked at just the wrong moment after beating off several attacks. That's right. That was actually his subordinate who came down the hill and attacked. His subordinate just assumed that he could do it, and then he just didn't. It just failed. Can't remember if that was one of those situations where the dice just went against him, or if there was something else to it. I can't remember. I guess I could go watch the live stream. But anyway. Right, another report. They did process my order. Looks like we didn't make contact with anything. Looks like there are cavalry to our rear. Enemy cavalry. Look at that. I should have gone up the main road. Should have gone up the main road. Oh man, this isn't good either. Alright, let's wait for the report. Well, I'm not going to get much of a report, am I? I'm over here. I can't see all this.
Good day, sir.
Hello.
Your men are. I didn't see your text orders until right when we were about to move on to the next turn. So I went, crap. So I've got your troops moving.
Okay.
You are element of the column. The 105th has reordered in their works and has also resupplied from the wagons.
Mm-hmm.
So guns are still in operation and are firing. And you and your men are moving up past Galgenberg. You can see coalition cavalry to your north and west. West of Galgenberg, across the river.
Right.
And you are heading towards the top of the saddle. So you can't see anything beyond your screenshot.
Okay, I want to ride up to the hilltop to have some observation.
Sure.
I want to go ahead and swing around to Berg.
Yep.
From the east and cross back over there.
Okay, not a problem.
Okay. Oh, is the 105th engaged?
Not at this time.
Send them.
They're not firing currently. No.
Send a rider to have them move up the road and meet me in Berg. Attack anything they encounter.
Which way is up the road? North or northeast?
Yeah, north.
Okay.
Up
Artillery.
that main road. Artillery remains in position.
Okay.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Your brigade supply.
They They can move. They can follow the main column around to the east.
Okay, not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Man, that's a risky move we're making there, folks. I think moving to the northeast was probably a tactical error. Should have moved north, but I expected us to have control of the north. So let's see here. Achilles says they were poor troops who left their advantaged position and ran into better fresh troops coming up. Yeah, in that battle I remember. Achilles says, of course, that was the exact same moment their far left position got overrun too, a double whammy. It was bad luck. Okay, I have a dispatch from another commander. I'm under attack by an unknown amount of enemies. I am holding them off, but don't see anything at all past my own troops. What's your situation? Location, hill southwest from Dullberg. Under Brantberg. Okay, so he's right there. Oh, it's my neighboring commander. He's the one holding. Alright, I need to write back to him. To Austria. Time is 10:15. Alright. So I've told him that I'm swinging around. I said the enemy forces are in our rear, but they might only be cavalry. Left my position to sweep into Berg from the east and south, hoping to defeat the enemy in detail there. I expect the enemy cannot break through our center. I suggest you continue to hold. I will be returning to this position shortly. Of course I'm lying. I don't know. The enemy could break through the center, especially now that I've abandoned it. It's pretty... I don't know that I would do this in real life. You know, I don't know. To be honest. But we'll see what happens. This could be a game-winning move, or more likely it's just a bizarre, what are you doing? But we'll see. But I am concerned about the chief objective and the enemy coming through with larger forces through there. If we lose Hebron, or this position here in particular, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but if we lose this, we lose the battle. So, Achilles says the question here is, where's your cavalry? They should be blocking them, and yeah, you're right. I don't know. I don't know what our cavalry's doing. Our cavalry's out of the picture as far as I know. I would assume they're doing their job, maybe just somewhere else, and we've just been hit by multiple units in different directions. Yeah, I'll be able to cross the river. Oh yeah, good point. Good point. Can I cross this? Well, I hope so. If not, we're going to be crossing to the south. We're going to be moving this way along the south. And back down here like this. So otherwise, we're going to move this way. Either way, we're coming back to this position, or so I imagine. But we're going to sweep it and make sure. And that might be something you do with a smaller force, but I don't know. If there's an opportunity to defeat the enemy in detail, catch him on the flank, I want to take it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Just standing by here. Justin just went up to the umpire room, so the turn should resolve fairly quickly. Might take 5 or 10 minutes tops. Should be pretty quick. These guys have it down to a science at this point, which is great. We have good experienced umpires now with a year's worth of experience umpiring. And I would expect that we'll have some conclusion here. And man, all I can say is I hope I didn't hose the team. On the other hand, who knows? I could be running into something spoiling the enemy's plans. We'll see what happens.
Wait, that's lobby channel.
And there we go. That's the end of game. Let's listen to the debrief.
Okay, guys. So the game has reached a conclusion, I would say, or we reach a point where we see that the conclusion is going to be clear enough. So Jan is right now streaming the game on Discord if you want to watch that, but the lobby is also open on Tabletop Simulator if you want to join the umpire table. So the server is called IKS Umpire Only, and the password is Kriegspiel, no capital letters. So IKS Umpire Only and Kriegspiel with no capital letters if you want to join the umpire table. So right now, for any new players, we're gonna do a battle debriefing, I think is the correct term. And first we're gonna have the umpires talk, and then we're gonna have commander-in-chief of each side talk, and then the junior brigade commanders. So everyone has a chance to tell their thoughts on the game. So I'll first explain the scenario or what went on in the battle. So in the scenario, the French rear line troops were protecting you could call a supply hub near Berg here in the north, and a sizable coalition formation had been ordered to attack in the vague direction of Berg, basically attack north towards the enemy lines and destroy anything in its path. So the game started with the French, prior to the game, in their briefing, getting some information about the enemy, and it was as vague as just knowing where the enemy scouts had been spotted, and the same information had been given to the coalition as well, in the terms of where the enemy pickets were that had spotted these French units. I mean, coalition units. So both sides only knew vaguely where the enemy might be coming from, and that it was here and here. The French were. I wanted to try something else in the scenario, which was that the other side was in a worse off position, definitely. But most of the time my games have been quite 1-to-1 ratio, but I wanted to try here that there's more of a clear defender and more clear attacker, and the defender definitely has less troops than the attacker. It wasn't quite 1-to-2 ratio, especially with one Prussian brigade not even being committed over here, but I think it created for an interesting scenario. So the game started with the coalition in a massive marching column all the way from Roth. They could have decided to deploy their troops in the east as well, in the direction of Mergenbach, but looks like the commander-in-chief of the coalition forces decided to not do so. The Prussian cavalry, the Saxon cavalry was screening the coalition advance on the highway, and eventually started doing flanking maneuvers on the sides. The French forces had taken positions near Herborn on the hill near it, and in the town itself, with artillery supporting them. And the cavalry was also nearby. Basically, the French were all gathered around Herbo. Meanwhile, the supply hub in Berg was near the area. The coalition advance or march to Herborn was quite stopped dead when the Prussian infantry saw the enemy infantry on the hill facing towards them and started taking cannon fire. The Prussian infantry, though, decided to act quite quickly and started marching in battle formation towards Herborn, but were unfortunately beaten back due to the enfilade fire from the enemy artillery. Meanwhile, the coalition infantry, the Saxons, second in the marching column, had also seen the enemy infantry and were now moving to maneuver northwest into the forest to flank the enemy. And more of the Saxon infantry piled in near the Prussians, and eventually a battle line for the coalition against the French formed. And basically then the coalition forces closed in on the French and a grueling firefight ensued. The progress was definitely slow for the coalition forces. Some of the French units were able to perform counterattacks as well, which have definitely had an impact on the Prussian forces, which arrived to the site of battle first and are currently recovering. Meanwhile, this grueling combat was happening. The Saxon cavalry had been doing their flanking maneuvers, flanking to the east and to the west, and were also creating havoc on the unprotected French supply hub, which the French forces arrived into too late and were beaten back by the enemy cavalry, seemingly, at least some of them. Meanwhile, one of the Prussian brigades had basically been kept in reserve in Amdorf and was only in the last stages of the battle were ordered to start moving to the east, where the Saxon infantry had marched to and were about to join them in their counteroffensive. Basically, in the center, near Herborn, the combat was a meat grinder, definitely, for the coalition, but the French forces were very much outnumbered in this scenario, and even though they had been able to create some sorts of shoddily made breastworks, they were still beaten back by the Saxon and Prussian forces, and the Saxon troops emerging out of the woods definitely was a final blow to the already faltering French forces, and the French cavalry kept near the friendly lines was unable to repel these Saxon troops. And in the north, much of the French supply column has already been damaged by the lingering cavalry of the coalition forces, and there have been local engagements against the French local troops near the baggage train, and it seems like with cavalry in their backs and with this large infantry force with a brigade's worth of uncommitted troops coming their way, it looks like the French are going to be unable to defend their huge supply hub with the few troops they currently have, which are not of the best quality. So that was how the battle went. and I think it was an interesting battle. I was a bit scared for some players because all of the coalition infantry players were in one big marching column on the highway. So I was scared of this becoming a marching simulator for some players, but I think many players got a chance to fight. The Prussian brigade being kept in reserve was quite unfortunate, but I guess in war you really need to keep some forces at reserve at some point at least. I had also, maybe I should tell about the players who I had under my control. I was umpiring 4 players, Vindictus, the commander-in-chief of the coalition forces. He was quite far behind his line in the beginning. His plan seemed quite clear though, with concentration of force, which was a pretty good idea now it looks like, since the battle in near Herborn definitely did seem to be a meat grinder. But, well, no buts here. He communicated well with his, well, attempted to communicate later when he understood how to send dispatches to his subordinates, sending dispatches quite often. And perhaps Vindictus didn't really have much impact in the game when it was going on, but his battle plan definitely did work, so it was prepared well in that sense. Also, much of the dispatches he sent to the Saxon cavalry were not received because the Saxon cavalry where it was one question mark for the couriers. Then I had Luam, the Prussian commander, in the front of the marching column. He decided to keep marching into Herborn even though he was attacked by artillery, which might have been seen honorable, but his men couldn't keep their nerves. But he did start reacting once he started taking losses from the artillery and continued fighting the enemy and waited for reinforcements, which seemed like a good idea. Then I had Theo, which unfortunately was kept in reserve. I don't really have much to say for Theo. Maybe he should have had some initiative of his own, but at least he followed his orders. And then I had Beckett, who decided to do something maybe unexpected, which was when he saw the French units on the hill, he decided to flank from the west. Even though it was off-road and uphill, he did show up in the enemy's flank, which definitely dealt the final blow to the already faltering French defense. Now that's all I had to say, so let's move on to the umpires. Let's start with Jan.
All right. Overall, I must say this battle is very interesting in several regards, but we will come back to what I think about that later on. Let's talk about the players I took care of, which was Peter with one of the light cavalry brigades, who did initially sort of scout here, then move around carefully, moved up to Herborn and wanted to cross into Herborn, but was immediately countered by French infantry crossing that bridge, attempting to form squares, then moved around, tried to check for the northern bridge, which was then also screened there at the Captain Mill. And then he searched for a fort, found some, and crossed to attack this supply hub here, managed to charge into the head of the marching column, throwing back one of the battalions who routed through this whole marching column because there isn't much space given all the supply wagons. And then he pulled out to the north. One of his battalions joined him there, which was covering his rear at the fort. And together they delivered a glorious charge against the enemy dragoons chasing them. So Peter really did what light cavalry is supposed to do: move around, scout, harass the enemy, try to find some weak spots, and I think he did that really well. Only thing that he could probably have made differently is immediately push for Burg instead of checking this crossing here. So then he would probably have been able to block this bridge against the upcoming infantry, at least for a while, that is, and really destroy or set this whole supply thing on fire, maybe. Anyways, that was well played, I think. And then I got the other cavalry under Morty, who screened here in the beginning at the Johannesburg, then tried to push forward to get an eye on the enemy positions, decided to move along this valley up through Uckersdorf, to das Neue Haus, then search for a crossing, and move into the woods. And there he was stuck for quite a while, for several hours, trying to reform his men, trying to push out. He has sort of a stare down with the enemy dragoons here, who were out of the woods but not in the position to charge into the woods. And then he pulled back. And once the enemy dragoons were gone, he reformed here in the end, in the very end, attacked this position, this bridge here, which would have this attack been committed earlier, it would have joined Peter's attack there, but obviously they were in no position to communicate and coordinate that. However, it appears that his light cavalrymen were very annoyed of running through the woods all day, and they delivered a glorious charge across this small creek here and routed 3 enemy battalions. So there's that. Third player I had was Das Alte, who it was his first game today. He marched up the chaussee, then began forming a battle line, a single battle line, trying to support the Prussians who were pushing up here in battle formation on Herborn. Problem was they were beaten back, as Otto said, by this enfilade fire. So then he tried to push up 2 battalions here into the woods, which worked well, pushed forward the line while the rest was still deploying. Only drawback here was that there wasn't even enough space to deploy the whole brigade in a single line. So my advice would be to sort of try to go for a double line formation in this position. However, having a thin line here along this position allowed him then to have 5 battalions in sort of double line position, which could take the position of the Prussians once they were beaten back the second time. And he carefully then advanced and closed in to combat, even though with all those smoke and fog around, he couldn't really tell what was going on up there. But and he was almost shot. He rolled a 2 on a d20, and a 1 would have killed, or at least really hard hit him. Yeah, now that the lines are breaking, this right flank, the strong right flank, is assaulting the Dolberg, and yeah, I think solid play for the first time there.
Alright, let's move on to the next umpire, Justin.
Okay, I had Marshall, who it's his, not quite his first game, it's probably his millionth game, and Reddy, who was his first game. And in both cases, okay, I've got one. The only questionable choice I'll call out was the entire French command staff meeting on Dolberg to discuss things. It's normally great to have commanders in the same place for a bit to discuss things. In this case, they were 10 paces from their artillery battery, so it quickly got very, very loud and very, very smoky, which made it very hard to see anything. But, having conference, they then split up. Marshall gets my chess player award with he had a good perimeter defense around here at Herborn, and then when he saw Peter's cavalry appear, he checked, shoved 1 brigade reserve out here, checked him. And then as me and Peter then broke off and went around the top, shoved his other reserve brigade here, stopped him again. And then at the end managed to successfully disengage his entire formation, except for the battery at the moment, which was still firing. That battery, which was a key piece in breaking Luum's Prussians twice, and probably would have either bugged out or gotten overrun by De Salto as he came in. Now, Reddy had his dragoons. I don't think they could have been handled better. They were initially here in reserve. They were shifted north to try and, because there were reports of the Prussian cavalry coming around this valley, and they were looking to ambush them when they came out of the valley, and then they were advancing here, trying to ambush them at the top of the valley, when they caught sight of the tail of them disappearing into the trees, which I think confused Reddy almost as much as it confused us about why anyone would lead cavalry into the trees. So then, instead of chasing them directly, he decided to pull back around and form here, wave them to come out. They appeared, he charged at them, they fled in the trees. He said, "Bugger that, I'm going to stay here." And so that's about the time when he caught sight of the Saxon infantry emerging, or approaching the edge of the trees. And there was a will he, won't he. He really wanted to try and hit them in column, but they wisely formed into line in the edge of the trees. And I think he never quite got sight of their full strength. He was still hoping he could fix their centre and get around their flanks. But with 10 battalions, that was going to be a big ask. And in the end, he couldn't easily pull away. He couldn't just let them into the rear of the line here. So he had to try charging them, even though it didn't work. What he did that I thought was really good, so really good tactically and really good cavalryman. Really good tactically, he caught sight of Peter's cavalry, his rearguard over here at Galgenberg, and he, instead of trying to keep all his forces in one fist, which he couldn't afford to do given he had all the cavalry, he detached two squadrons, so a whole regiment, to go chase that off, to try and get to the top of Galgenberg and chase off the enemy cavalry. And it pursued the enemy cavalry. He kept checking for reports to check was there infantry up at the supply depot, and he got confirmation, yes, they could see French artillery and French infantry in that area. And in the end, his dragoons pursued Peter's rearguard all the way up to here, where suddenly the 2-to-1 odds were turned back against them and they lost. But that was a good use of his troops to detach them. And over here, my favourite cavalryman moment was his order to, and this is my favourite line for the game, "I will charge the burglars to my west, and then if I beat them off by the grace of God, I will head south and fight the burglars to my south." Which is, recognizing the odds are not in his favour, given the sounds of combat from 3 sides, but damn it, we're cavalry, we're going to try anyway. So, a lot of fun. Thank you.
Alright, let's move on to the next umpire, which was Suta.
Yeah. I've had my thoughts on other places because some issues showed up, but the things I can point out is that I didn't always get the entire parts of the orders, so. But I was umpiring what's his name, Crusader, and he had his lines in the reserve up here, and I think I misunderstood where he wanted to put his artillery, because they were at the west of the line, which was inside of the forest. So when this was pointed out, he was trying to send it over there to Dalberg. But well, that took some time because it was artillery moving through hills and the forest. I don't have much to add. I think most things have already been said.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Suta, for umpire. Okay, if someone needs to go, because it might be late for some people, if someone needs to go or wants to say something, go ahead. Otherwise, since no one has anything to say, let's go on to the commander-in-chiefs of each side, and let's start with the victors of this battle, commander of the coalition, General Major Vindictus.
Thank you very much. Originally, when the battle started, there was some confusion on our end. We had mislabeled our channels, and that delayed us a little bit. However, the original plan I envisioned was for our cavalry to scout and screen to the north and the east, while the infantry marched directly on Hairburn on the main road. what quickly developed was the Saxon cavalry had been given orders to, at their own discretion, at the commander's discretion, to ford the river south of Herborn, which he did magnificently. And he sent me a dispatch when he was in the suburbs, just on the other side of the bridge at Herborn. I had sent the dispatch, I don't know if he received it, to not send the cavalry into Herborn. I did not want his cavalry to be chewed up in an urban environment. And he was ordered to find a ford at his discretion north of Herborn with the intent of crossing the river and hitting the French forces in the rear that were defending the Dahlberg. That is why I believe he never went to the bridge north of Galdenberg and instead did that short detour north of Herborn, was because of my orders, which is fine. That's why I gave him discretion, and that's how he ended up going to the northeast and attacking the supply column after unable to find a suitable ford to hit the French in the rear. The other the other Saxon cavalry that was screening and scouting to the north, I ended up handing over the left wing of the army to Oberst Theo, because we had some logistics problems with the channels, and he and I realized we ended up with somehow having a duplicate cavalry unit. So to minimize that error and keep going, the best thing to do was to reorganize into two separate wings. He was in command of the reserve infantry, and I had assigned to him the reserve artillery. And he did a fine job of not only getting over the Johannesburg Hill into Amdorf, which was where our reserve was to be posted until such time that a place for him to gloriously exploit with the infantry and artillery would develop. I lost contact with him as he was moving last known position east from Amdorf in support of the Saxon infantry, which I had ordered to attack the Dahlberg. The Dahlberg was an interesting position because at one point it looked like we had the French flank sticking right towards us. So immediately the Saxon infantry that was opposite that seeming flank was ordered to attack it without holding anything back. At the same time, Das Alte, whether a result of my dispatches or his own initiative because of the language barrier, ended up in the perfect position to pin that French line while the Saxons to the west flanked it. The reserve was giving orders, Theo was given orders in his reserve to exploit this flanking attack. I never found out whether he got the orders or not, but he seemed to take his own initiative regarding supply, which is fine. Where there was a brief panic was when I was attached with Das Alte, Colonel Beckett, and Oberst Walter. We were all sitting on the slope of the hill southwest of the Dahlberg, and much to our alarm, our reserve artillery suddenly got handed over to me. And we panicked a little, wondering, did Oberst Theo get killed, and that's how it ended up with us, or did he deliberately hand it off to us? So from that point on, because I was sending the dispatches to his last known position, was unaware that he had moved so far north, and we assumed that he had been killed. Likewise, the last time I heard from the Saxon cavalry that was ordered to flank the French from the other side of Herborn, we lost contact with them, and we were very nervous that possibly they had been wiped out and their commanders killed. As a result, we did the next best thing. We decided, since the enemy is there, they're on the hill, they're presenting our flank, that regardless of anything else, we would destroy them by pinning them, which Alte Das, I thought, did a good job of, and hitting them in the flank. I believe it was Beckett or I believe it was Beckett, correct me if I'm wrong, went to Uckersdorf. But I lost contact with him once he got there. But it was pretty apparent that something was happening to our north. And I assumed that somebody, whether it was Theo or Beckett, was flanking and getting behind the French position. And I was happy with that, because I knew it was only a matter of time before we could get behind them, flank and get behind them and crush them. What I did not expect was total fog of war, the immense amount of smoke from artillery. Our artillery on the Prussian side was ordered to bombard the Dolberg, without mercy. So those two guns acted like they were a chihuahua thinking it was a bigger dog. They just relentlessly hammered the Dolberg. And it was basically at that point, we were going all out to destroy those troops on the Dolberg. But because of the smoke, I could not see anything, regardless of where I moved to the high ground, onto the slopes. I could not see anything. I eventually moved off to the northwest to try to get to the extreme left flank of the coalition army, which I discovered actually extended even further to the north. So, from my viewpoint, the plan looked to be carried out exactly as I envisioned: a pinning attack, which Alte did with the Saxons, and then a flanking attack, which Beckett did with his Saxons. As far as the cavalry, they did a really good job screening, which was the intent, and scouting. But like I said, probably more so my fault than theirs. I lost contact with both cavalry brigades, but I'm satisfied with, very much so, with the initiative they showed. And overall, it was incredibly exciting. It was suspenseful. There was some moments of sheer ecstasy where I was looking at that French flank and just envisioning getting behind the French and cutting them off from their supply and surrounding them. In fact, the fog of war was so bad that I sent a courier into Herborn to try and contact the French commander there and asking him to surrender, since he was surrounded. Now, obviously, that was not true, but I also sent a second dispatch to the French commander on the Dolberg telling him to surrender, because I was definitely convinced I was in the process of surrounding him. The purpose of both those dispatches were not so much as to expect a surrender, but I expected some sort of response which would possibly be elicited and give me a hint as to what was going on where I could not see. Unfortunately, neither one happened, and everything worked out well in the end, despite the fog of war. And I give a lot of credit to my subordinates who showed initiative when they needed to, showed restraint when they needed to. The reserve, I wanted to keep that reserve despite outnumbering the enemy, because it was originally envisioned that Theo would take that reserve and be the final nail in the French coffin after our Saxon infantry pinned them. And overall, I would say we accomplished it without committing that reserve, but not as decisively as I thought we would. Hats off to the French and their stubborn defense of the Dahlberg, which became my Hougoumont, an obsession of taking it and destroying everything on it, and using that as the focal point of the trap to cut off the French from their supply.
All right, thank you. By the way, the couriers you sent to the enemy forces, they one sent to Herborn arrived to Herborn but found it deserted. But the one sent to Dahlberg went there and found that the enemy were running away. So quite funny how that happened. But now let's move on to the commander-in-chief of the French forces, Crusader.
Well, our plan basically was to put up a forward defense, blocking the two roads of potential enemy advance, as we knew it. Which decided the best position was around Herborn, due to the city itself, with its crossings and the hills covered by forest to its west, which gave us a limited front line against a numerically superior enemy. as it happened, it didn't. We originally planned to abandon these positions in such cases as this flanking maneuver, but due to the situation, it wasn't really possible to carry out those plans. I didn't actually participate in any of the decisive fights, so I think I should probably hand it off to my subordinates.
All right. Oh, let's start with the victories, coalition forces, and let's start with Colonel Beckett, who doesn't have a microphone, but I'll briefly read what he wrote. So, I suppose I should start typing early, and once the queue gets to me, there will be that. So, well, definitely much improvement since my first game. Understanding how to read the map more clearly helped a lot. Duh, he has written. I'm still thinking about how to organize coordinating the umpire's messages and the tabletop play better, but looking at the last screenshots delivered, the state of the umpire table and my table, it's still not half bad. Technical stuff out of the way. About the battle. First and foremost, I should have committed sooner. This much is obvious with the luxury of 2020 hindsight. But less talking with my fellow commanders and more charging up the foe's rear would have saved many from the meat grinder of Herborn and helped eliminate and/or capture more of the French army. Still, the assault was a success, so not much I can complain about. Comms and visibility were definitely better than last time. I must say, knowing what the hell is going on around me seems to really improve the decision making. Who would have guessed? Still some room for improvement. I'll be kept up at night by the thoughts of keep your eyes on your bloody troops. As for good 45 minutes, all I saw was the two last battalions and a courier informing me the column reached Uckersdorf while I was screwing around having lunch with my fellow colonels and commander-in-chief. In my defense, we were very engaged in trying to figure out where the hell our cavalry is. Which, being one of the last people to ever see them, I couldn't disengage from the discussion easily. That's that then. If I missed something any of you would like to comment on, do tell, and I'll add it right here. Alright, let's move on to the next coalition commander, which was Das Auto. Unfortunately, Das Auto doesn't speak English that much, for he's a real Saxon commander, prefers talking in German. So if Das Alta has anything to tell to you, Jan, you can translate that if you want.
All right.
But
Okay.
let's move.
Yeah, we can do that later on. Yeah.
Yeah. let's move on to the next coalition commander, which was Colonel Luam, who was the front of the coalition column.
Okay, yeah. So I started advancing at the front, and then I saw a large enemy force at Airborne. Then I thought I would march forward and stay at some distance of them to give the others behind me some space to deploy. But apparently I deployed too far or too near to them. So yeah, I took some losses and had to go back. Only to find out later when I attacked again. The next time the west flank of your position, I ended up again in the middle of the fire. So yeah. I do not really regret any decision, but I think I could have acted a little more defensively.
Alright, let's move on to the next commander. I think, okay, there would be Theo, but unfortunately he has needed to go.
Yeah, same for
But-
Morty.
Yeah, and let's move on to the French commanders now, and let's start with.
Oh, we still have Peter.
Oh yeah, Peter. Oh yeah, his name is Second Cav. Oh yeah, of course. So Peter, you were commanding one of the Saxon cavalry.
You may have forgotten me, but I don't think we're today. It's fine. So yeah, I was screening the coalition's eastern flank, and I think I came to the conclusion that they weren't actually going to be moving on us from that flank. So I decided to be proactive. I didn't know that the forces weren't equal, so I thought I'd better be relatively quick, because if I've got nothing here, then it means the French are heavy in another position. So I crossed at Cinna, which is down in the south, and then moved up to Herborn, where I saw the flank of Marshall's forces, but he also was tactically aware and was blocking that bridge. I did have a thought that I would go to Berg first, but because the coalition forces were kind of bound up here, I felt like I needed to get across them quickly. So I initially made a bridge at Herborn, but again, Marshall obviously knows my mind as well as me, and he blocked me there. And then I was made aware, due to the position that I was in, that I could see the baggage train near Berg, so that then became the priority for me. And yeah, I think it was pretty much said. I attacked it. I took out some of the French infantry there. Then I was cavalry, and I basically just took on those as well. So yeah, again, I was playing with the understanding that there'd be equal forces. So the fact that I think I kind of interrupted two infantry and one cavalry to a certain degree kind of helped us deal with the other elements of it. So I'm quite happy with what I did. And so yeah, the French had a tough one, and it looks like they did as best as they could.
Yeah, the French definitely won before getting you. Now, let's move on to the French side, and let's start with General Marshall.
Okay. Man, I messed up. That's all I can say. I messed up for two big reasons. Number one, there was no scenario where I was going to be caught dead on Dahlberg Hill. And the second one was I thought that the main attack was certainly coming around to our rear, either through Uckersdorf or less likely to the east. But I had spotted enemy forces to the east, and thought, well, perhaps the cavalry could be screening. There could be anything going on there. And I thought there was an opportunity to defeat the enemy in detail to the east, should they be there. So the logic was the enemy had appeared to our front in the center. They had attacked twice, been repulsed twice. I feared they were largely broken and probably defeated. I was of the assumption that we had the west pretty much covered, at least monitored, and I had no reports that there was anything happening on the west other than that, like a small force had been sighted or something, possibly a scouting force. So in my mind, where's that main body? Because I know that we're greatly outnumbered, and the other place it could be was to the east, which was a place where we really didn't have much in the way of defenses. So I just figured, well, he's doing something over there. Let's go east and catch him and spoil his attack on Berg and defeat him in detail there. We've already defeated him in the center. Let's defeat him on the flank, and it should be an easy victory for us. Obviously, the logic was deeply flawed, and I left my post and probably walked right into a court martial. Until that, I think we had done really well there in the center. But yeah, that flank, I don't know how we could have really held against that with the enemy coming through the trees there. And but yeah, man, yeah, I need I need a different hobby. That's all.
All right, let's move on to the next French commander, who is looks like we've run out of commanders since it's that late. Unless I missed someone again. No, seems to be that way. Well, thanks everyone for playing. This was a cool game. It's maybe the turns could have been a bit quicker. It wasn't quite 1-to-1 ratio this time with real time, but it was quite close anyways. Most turns were.
Thanks for educating me in your system. After many false attempts, we actually managed to line up at the same time.
Yeah, hopefully you can get to play sometime instead of umpiring. And yeah, if there are any players who want to start umpiring, I am ready to give any private lessons on the system and how to do things anytime, so people will have more time to play themselves instead of always having the same umpires. Thought this was a cool game. Maybe the French should have. I was planning for the French to maybe be even more outnumbered. But
yeah, I always enjoy force imbalances, and if I could have played as anyone, I would have loved to play as one of the French commanders.
Yeah, but it was a pretty big meat grinder in the center. Like the French troops were in the center quite outnumbered and didn't have much other than some shoddy, quickly built breastworks to defend them, which didn't really help that much. But they still hold the enemy for quite a while.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the sort of scenario that you come back to later on and you go, okay, that didn't work. How do we win as the French? How do we do this?
Yeah, I might reuse this scenario. I do have still few open Saturday scenarios left to be unplayed.
Yeah, I also think this was a pretty interesting battle, and there are a few points I think we can take away from this one. First, regarding the cavalry, so as I said, Peter pretty much did what light cavalry is supposed to do pretty well there. Might have been due to the fact that there wasn't really any resistance on that side of the river once he crossed it. But I think we also saw what you are not supposed to do with cavalry, which is like sitting in the woods and trying to sneak through the woods for hours. And I mean, the basic idea was pretty good, right? You wanted to go through the woods, then attack the rear of the enemy, which is a good idea. But you cannot bring a brigade of 5 squadrons of cavalry, even if they are light cavalry. You cannot bring them through the woods. Then on the other hand, and that is Reddy's command here, the French dragoons, I think they were even though I agree with Justin that they reacted according to the position pretty good, the situation pretty good, they were in the wrong spot there. There was no place for them to really be effective in any sort. Of course, they could screen the woods there, they could screen the creek up there, but that's about it. I mean, they were somewhere here, and it's up to the edge of the woods. That's not even 300 meters. So, and then
And you could feel some of his frustration there, where he could see the enemy, but
yeah,
as long as the enemy were in the trees, there wasn't much he could do about it.
yeah. So basically, dragoons are as mounted. They are like heavy cavalry. So they really need space and time to get into the speed to deliver a charge of some sorts. If they were supposed to be in this position, they would probably have been. It would have been the better choice to dismount them to cover the flank, maybe, or otherwise. I mean, if the overall French strategy would have been to pull out, to use them as a secondary line and then charge in once the own infantry pulls out to delay the enemy there. But I can certainly see that the terrain on the French side here is, difficult to put them in the perfect spot. On the other side, I find this attack on Herborn and the Dolberg is a pretty good example of how you need to think about deploying infantry before you actually do it. Right? We had and Luan said that he had his brigade and double line marching onto Herborn all on their own, although he knew that the enemy was sitting on the hill there, right? So the enemy was basically aligned here and here with batteries here, which he also knew. So putting them into the enfilade position and the possibility of the French line charging down the hill into his flank was pretty risky. That's the reason why they were pushed back for the first time. Then eventually, when Das Alte marched up with his brigade here and attempted to deploy them into a single line, you could pretty easily see that there wasn't even enough space to deploy the whole formation. So a double line would have been the better decision to make here. But in the first place, my point is both brigades should have coordinated their deployment and coordinated advance in the first place to attack there. I mean, that worked out once they were sort of aligned there, even though facing the artillery and then the flanking fire from Herborn, the Prussians were thrown back again, but it worked out better than before. So,
Yeah,
and another point, maybe
You
if
go,
I may, it's just the artillery. I mean, I can see why you keep them with the divisional or corps supply train or whatever, but they were far behind the combat, and they arrived, and I think they delivered 2 volleys, and that was about it, because then they were screened by friendly infantry, sort of assaulting the hill positions, and couldn't do much work anymore. So they should probably next time be put further up in the column to be there and deliver close range support, because these are 6-pounders, quite mobile. You can bring them up with the infantry together and work that out.
Yeah, and with 2020 hindsight, what if Reddy's cavalry had been deployed on the open ground between Amdorf and Uckersdorf at the start? Like, not intended to be a second infantry line, but basically making sure that the coalition had to pay cash to force their way up that valley rather than just sweeping around.
Yeah, I think that would have been a good option. Like, pull them into this area where nothing is going on, or even have them as a forward defense line, right? Force the enemy to deploy and slow them down. Like, put them on the Johannesberg, actually. And what is the enemy going to do against you? Nothing. They have to form up here and then bring their artillery, which was far behind, and slowly push you up. But you can easily force them, like feint attacks, and force them into square again. So that would have slowed them down and allowed the French to maneuver here. I would say obviously there are arguments for and against and whatever. Looking at the terrain, and I think I keep coming back to the point that commanders are not looking closely enough to the terrain. So I think Herborn was identified correctly as the strong point with the crossings here to protect it. and of course the crossing at Burg. But given the terrain here, I mean, the judgment call that the woods are somewhat protecting the flank is of course right, but as we can see here, eventually the enemy will bring infantry through the woods nonetheless. Even if they come up disrupted, then your line, seeing them coming up on the flank, will just hurry away. So that might be not the best option, especially if the battle takes longer than you want it to. So I think the Dolberg is also a good position for artillery, especially. So these two positions are, I think, rather good, especially that the artillery can cover these woods. I mean, if the enemy is coming out, you just shred them to pieces, and the trees you're shooting in work in your favor as well as they are splittering. Having the cavalry in front and then sort of defensive lines at Berg, and you don't need much troops to cover those. Then the Galgenberg is a perfect artillery position. And if you want to cover to the south here, then you have these sort of slopes you could use for that. So that might have been a better defensive position, considering that there is a river in between which the enemy cannot cross. So they would have to assault and grind down their own troops, assault Herborn. But that's just how I see the terrain situation.
I think looking at the circumstances there, with the briefing and everything, both sides having little information about one another, I think both sides did pretty well with, especially with concentrating their forces.
Yeah.
Like, there was even though the French were outnumbered, they were able to have a pretty good defensive line near Dolberg. And I think the coalition attack, even though it was a bit messy, I think it was pretty smart, just concentrating the force on one road, which of course did have its own. Well, there's not much choice in terms of road if you're going to Herborn, but I think it was pretty smart keeping your force together, and no one really got defeated in detail. I think this game, which is something that commanders make an error of. Well, maybe the Berg supply hub kind of got destroyed there. And Crusaders' troops were there a bit alone, but otherwise, I think it was quite well
And we
done.
should also add that the French didn't roll really well here, so they could probably have stood a little longer there if the flanking force didn't show up.
You're talking about like dice rolls. Meanwhile, these men are like fighting bravely to like the last man.
Yeah. No, very interesting game overall.
Very interesting game. I found Marshall's comments interesting, and I messaged him about it regarding the Saxon cavalry southeast of Herborn, because the last I had heard of them was when they had arrived there, and that's when I had ordered, not to attack Herborn, but to move to the north and possibly hit the French in the rear after crossing the river. And when I lost track of them, I had Da Salte and I had Walter and Beckett with me. I made the comment that it was very unnerving not to know where that cavalry was, but by the same token, I knew he was somewhere between Gallberg and southeast of Herborn, as far east as that Homburg. So I knew he was somewhere north through east through southeast of Herborn. And I said, if that's the case, the French commander must be freaking out, saying, holy smokes, if there's cavalry there, there must be infantry also. And I said, that works in our favor because he'll be freaking out, that there's more than what was actually there. And that, I guess that worked out fine by accident.
Yeah, I didn't actually receive. I think I received one of your dispatches, and I don't think it was actually sent to me. First cavalry received it by mistake, so I didn't receive any of yours. I didn't actually send any dispatches to you because I just felt it's going to take so long to receive it. The situation would have changed anyway. So I just carried on being a nuisance in the back there. That's what it is, so.
You're
Yeah,
very much the Jeb Stewart of the day.
Oh, it's Morte, by the way. Morte
yeah.
is back. It's nice, and you have first section cavalry brigade commanders. Tell us a bit late, but still, what you thought of the game.
Sorry for exiting before because I needed to eat and shower. Now I'm back. Sorry. Another thing is, well, my first plan was, as Jan saw, was to try to flank the position at the seat at Herborn and try maybe to charge their artillery. Then I encountered the dragoons who tried and blocked my men who were disorganized and were not prepared to fight in any means. So I just retreated to the hill on the very back. At that point, Jan said that I heard some musket fire from the east, and I chose to go there. And as you saw, I charged the retreating enemy, while two of my unit got into the mess of the I think the baggage train, and I think there was a traffic jam from all that stuff there is there, or they were not trying to move. I don't know. That's all basically. I just got one dispatch from Vindicus and it was to report my position. And well, I just reported it, but I don't know if he got it or not. Can Vindicus confirm if he got my dispatch?
I don't think
Yeah.
so.
Well, they got it. So the dragons got it probably, or the infantry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and, I mean, your attack, your final attack was, you just rolled 3 routes on the enemy. It was, given the terrain, a bit over the top, but we just said it's the last attack anyways, and your men are tired of sitting in the woods. So
Yeah, well, I wanted to try to charge them from the back of the formation, but
yeah.
at least I've done basically nothing. But it was fun.
I
Yeah,
was
maybe
blessed.
you could have moved on Burg immediately once you were up there. Although there were, of course, enemy formations here, and moving here
I,
up and down.
I didn't saw any move. The problem, I would have moved to the north of Arbon if I knew there was the baggage train, but I didn't hear it from the plan phase, I think. So I thought it was useless to go there.
Yeah.
That's why.
All right. I have to wrap up, folks. I'm out of time personally. I hope you enjoyed watching the battle. It was an interesting experience, some tough lessons learned. And this concludes it. Tomorrow there will not be an episode of Coffee Kegs and Kriegspiel. It's a one-off for me. But we will be back the following Sunday. Tonight I am planning to interview sort of an early Coffee Kegs and Kriegspiel. A debrief from an American Revolution campaign that was recently run, and I'll be putting that up probably instead of the live show that normally happens on Sundays. Otherwise, stay tuned. There is a lot of stuff that's coming in the pipes. We do have a fair bit of content to share with you over the next few weeks, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you on the next adventure.